She stood a few feet away, her hair slightly received as if she'd rushed to get there. Her eyes locked onto Hyunjin, but the moment Taehyung turned, her gaze met his. Time seemed to stop. Vian's expression shifted from relief to shock, her lips parting as if to speak, but no words coming out. Taehyung, on the other hand, felt like the ground had been pulled out from under him. Mom, this is the nice mister who waited with me, Hyunjin said, oblivious to the tension in the air. Vine blinked, her eyes flickering between Taehyung and Hyunjin. You waited with him? Taehyung stood slowly, his towering frame casting a shadow over the bench. His voice was hoarse when he spoke. She took a step back, her hand instinctively resting on Hyunjin's shoulder. What are you doing here? She asked, her tone guarded. 'I was here for work, Taehyung replied, his eyes never leaving hers. I didn't know you were in Busan. Vine's lips pressed into a thin line, her gaze dropping to the ground. It's been 5 years, Taehyung. A lot has changed. 5 years. The weight of those words hit him like a freight train. His gaze shifted to Hyunjin, who was now looking between them curiously. Taehyung's voice faltered. He couldn't bring himself to finish the question, the answer already clawing at the edge of his mind. Vance stiffened. We should go, she said abruptly, her voice tight. But Mom, now, she said, her tone leaving no room for argument. Taehyung took a step forward, desperation flickering in his eyes. Vine flinched, her grip on Hyunjin tightening. She turned slightly, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Taehyung's chest constricted, her words slicing through him like a blade. He opened his mouth to respond, but Vine shook her head. She whispered, her voice cracking. She took Hyunjin's hand and walked away, leaving Taehyung standing there, his heart shattered all over again. As they disappeared down the street, Taehyung sank back onto the bench, his hands trembling. The truth was right there in front of him, and he had no idea how to fix the mess he'd made. But one thing was clear, he couldn't let them slip away again. The walk home was quieter than usual. Wyan gripped Hyunjin's small hand tightly as they moved through the crowded streets of Busan. Her steps were quick, but her thoughts were in complete turmoil. She could still see Taehyung's face, shock, regret, and the weight of 5 years bearing down on his shoulders. Hyunjin's small voice broke through her thoughts. Wyan hummed softly, not daring to look at him. The boy was staring up at her, his big, curious eyes reflecting the afternoon sun. Was that man my dad? Wyan's breath hitched, but she didn't stop walking. No, Hyunjin, he's just someone I used to know. But he said, she interrupted, her voice firmer this time. I said no. Hyunjin frowned, his lips pulling into a stubborn pout. But you always tell me not to lie, and you're lying now. Wyan stopped abruptly, kneeling in front of him to meet his gaze. Listen to me carefully, she said softly but sternly. That man, he doesn't matter to us. You and I are fine on our own, aren't we? Hyunjin hesitated, his small fingers toying with the hem of his backpack strap. But he looked sad, he murmured. And you look sad too. Ryan's heart clenched, but she masked it with a strained smile. Sometimes grown ups just have complicated feelings, Hyunjin. It doesn't mean anything. He didn't look convinced, but he nodded slowly. Okay, Mom. The rest of the evening passed quietly. Ryan tried to distract Hyunjin with his favorite cartoons and dinner, but his usual cheerfulness was subdued. She watched him from the kitchen doorway as he built a small Lego house on the coffee table, her heart heavy with guilt. She had worked so hard to build this life for them, simple, steady, and safe. Taehyung showing up out of nowhere had threatened to shatter everything. I won't let him hurt you, Hyunjin, she thought. The next morning, Hyunjin was unusually quiet on the way to school. He sat in the passenger seat, looking out of the window with a contemplative expression. You're awfully quiet today, Ryan remarked, glancing at him. Just thinking, he mumbled, still looking outside. Ryan sighed, reaching over to ruffle his hair lightly. Don't think so much, little one. Everything's fine, okay? Hyunjin nodded, though he didn't look convinced. After dropping him off, Vine tried to push aside the unease gnawing at her chest. She had work to focus on, deadlines to meet. She couldn't let Taehyung's sudden reappearance derail everything. At the office, hours later, Vine's phone rang, jarring her out of her concentration. She glanced at the screen. It was Hyunjin's school. A cold chill ran down her spine as she quickly answered. Hello, Miss Wyan. The voice on the other end said urgently, you need to come to the school immediately. Your son has fainted. Ryan's heart dropped. What? Is he okay? What happened? He's stable for now, but we think it's exhaustion or stress. The nurse is with him, but you should come right away. At the nurse's office, Ryan burst through the door of the small nurse office, her chest heaving. Hyunjin lay on the bed, pale and weak, his small hands resting by his sides, his eyes fluttering open when he heard her voice. Ryan rushed to his side, kneeling beside the bed and taking his hand in hers. Are you okay? What happened? I'm sorry, he whispered, tears pooling in his eyes. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Thinking about what? Ryan asked softly, brushing his hair back from his forehead. About him, Hyunjin admitted, sniffling. About my dad. You lied to me, Mom. He is my dad, isn't he? Ryan froze, her heart shattering at the raw look on his face. I want to meet him, Hyunjin said firmly, though his voice was small. I want to know him. I want to live with my dad too. It's not fair, Mom. Wan's eyes stung with tears. Hyunjin, it's not that simple. Why not? He demanded, his voice rising. You never even asked me what I wanted. I want to know him, Mom, please. Wan closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. Her son's words struck her deeply because she knew he was right. She had spent years running, shielding him from the truth, but in doing so, she had denied him the right to know his own father. Taking a deep breath, she wiped her tears and leaned closer. Okay, she whispered softly, I'll talk to him. Hyunjin's eyes lit up, hope flickering across his tired features. That evening, Wan sat at the edge of her bed. Taehyung's number pulled up on her phone. Her fingers hovered over the call button, doubt and fear gnawing at her resolve. What if he refuses? What if he tries to take Hyunjin away? But then she remembered Hyunjin's pale face, the stubborn determination in his eyes. He deserved to know the truth, and as much as it pained her, Taehyung deserved to know his son. Gathering her courage, she pressed the call button. It rang twice before he picked up. His deep voice sent a shiver through her, years of emotion bubbling to the surface. Months later, Taehyung had shifted with Ryan and Hyunjin for his kids' sake. Months went by, and Taehyung and Ryan finally started speaking normally with each other. After 7 months, the rooftop was bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, the stars twinkling brightly against the velvety black sky. A gentle breeze carried the faint scent of jasmine, mingling with the laughter and joy that had filled the evening. Hyunjun had insisted on a rooftop campout, complete with a small tent, fairy lights, and all the excitement of an adventure. Now he lay fast asleep between his parents, his soft snores punctuating the peaceful night. Taehyung lay on his side, propped up on one elbow as he gazed at the boy. His heart swelled with emotions he couldn't quite put into words. His son, their son, was finally here within reach. It felt surreal. But his gaze didn't linger on Hyunjin for long. Slowly his eyes moved to Wayan. She sat beside the tent, her knees drawn to her chest as she stared at the sky, lost in thought. The moonlight highlighted her profile, and for a moment Taehyung forgot how to breathe. Her presence had always been his solace, even in the years they'd been apart. But now that she was here, the silence between them felt heavier than ever. He softly said, breaking the quiet. She turned her head slightly, her expression unreadable. Taehyung hesitated, his throat tightening, but he knew he couldn't keep it bottled up any longer. Sitting up, he took a deep breath. I need to say this, he began, his voice trembling slightly. I've been carrying this guilt for years, and I can't keep it inside anymore. Vine blinked, her eyes searching his face, but she didn't say anything. Taehyung's hand fidgeted in his lap as he continued, his gaze dropping to the ground. Taehyung's heart sank, but he nodded slowly. I understand. But, she continued, opening her eyes to look at him, I see how much you love him, how much you regret what happened. And Hyunjun, he deserves to have both his parents. He deserves to grow up surrounded by love. Taehyung's breath hitched, hope flickering in his chest. Does that mean? Wan nodded slowly, her voice soft. We can try. For Hyunjin. Taehyung reached for her hand again, this time holding it firmly. Thank you, Wan. I promise I'll spend the rest of my life making up to you. She didn't pull away, though her grip was tentative. We'll take it slow, Taehyung. Don't rush things, and don't expect me to forget the past overnight. I won't, he assured her, his eyes shining with sincerity. I just want to be here, with you, with him. Wine gave him a small, tentative smile, and for the first time in years, Taehyung felt a spark of hope. As they sat together under the starlit sky, Hyunjun stayed in his sleep, mumbling something incoherent before snuggling closer to his parents. Taehyung glanced down at the boy, then back at Ryan. Thank you, he whispered. And as the three of them lay under the canopy of stars, a new chapter began, one filled with healing, hope, and the promise of a better tomorrow. This is it for the series, guys. I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed, then please like, share, subscribe, comment what I should make next. Give me some angst ideas. Also, if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. I post random stuff there. So yeah, if you want, of course. And I don't have anything else to say but a very heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who has supported me throughout this journey. I never got the chance to thank any of you, and I don't think so anyone is even listening to me. But, anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for everything. Yeah, so keep supporting, keep liking, keep spreading kindness in this world. Yeah, that's it for today. I will see you in the next story, series, whatever I'll come up with. Till then, bye bye.